Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Joe Daddy's Garage and the Monday night live stream. If you've not been here before, we try to focus on classic cars, 60s, 70s, even 50s. Sometimes we go way back into the 30s and whatever. But we try to focus on classic cars, Mustangs, Camaros, Mopars, Plymouth, AMC, whatever. And if people want to talk about certain things, we can, discuss problems with those cars. If you have a question, I ask you submit it because we'll try to answer it for you. Or if you have ideas or problems or whatever, and I try to answer the questions. If I can't, there's a group of people on that side over there who tend to follow along and do a really good job of helping out and keeping up and answering questions. So if I have a good answer, I get a bell. But if you have a good answer, you get a bell. So anyway, I'm sure most of you have been here before, but there may be some new people. So I have to cover how we do these things. I want to thank everybody for coming and watching and listening and whatever you're doing. I think that's great. If you would throw a thumbs up on the video, that helps out as well. And we're going to see who is here. And I see early on, Jessica had checked in, but she had a doctor's appointment. So she left her thumbs up. She may not be able to make it back, but she may show up later. So I'm glad she stopped by. Clark Clifford, $10 super sticker. Appreciate that. Every little bit helps. Jerry's Garage, the Money Pit. Good evening from Middle Tennessee. I hope things are working out for you, Jerry. I know you've been working on that Mustang, trying to fix things up again. So hope you're getting things figured out. Roger, Hindsight 67, checking in from next door, literally. We got a bunch showing up here. Let's see. Rick Stevenson, hello everyone from Florida. Glad you're here. Ron Bell, greetings from the Tri-Cities in Northeast Tennessee. So we have Tennessee covered in Middle and Northeast. So we're getting, the whole state here soon. Gordon, Patreon is looking for a few good women and men to support Barry. They said he's doing great, but he will get better as he approaches geezer status. Yeah. I'm getting close to geezer status. I will say that every day. Rick Gain, it's been another long Monday. Looking forward to relaxing for a couple hours. Hope everybody is doing well. Glad you're here, Rick. Richard, hello from steamy Florida. Yeah, it's steamy here in Georgia. And that's been a hindrance for me at the moment. Dawn with Betsy checking in early today from Portland. Is it raining out there, Dawn? I hope it is because it's raining here in Georgia. Chris Greenaway checking in from Canada. Glad you're here. Crash Rider, hello from warm and sunny southern Indiana. Still trying to clean up my garage to make room for a project. Well, I don't know if it's your stuff or not, or for some, maybe somebody else's. Priorities, man. Priorities. Ish 419. Hello, everyone. Glad you're here. Greg's Workshop checking in. Australia. Danny Alvey, hello, Barry. Or hey, Barry, checking in from Paducah. Working on the 65 Fastback Mustang tonight. Awesome. Dan Shader checking in from across the pond. Glad you're here, Dan. David Willis, hey everybody from Scottsville, Virginia. Joe Pendola, thumbs up. Thank you. Chris, hey Barry, since you paint, we aren't taking the Firebird for paint. The painter complained about bubbles in the paint, but to me, looks like dry spray. Yeah, well, it's hard to say until you start digging. And once you start digging, it can become a big can of worms. I'm not saying you have that, but I'm just saying it's hard to determine that. Phil checking in from windy, fire warning, Northern California. Well, take cover, Phil. I hope you're okay. Harvey checking in from New Jersey, Raleigh Cat Garage. David Sherrill checking in. Glad you're here. Let's see. Wally checking in from the Great White North. Glad you're here, Wally. Ish. Hello, Barry. What's your opinion on ultraviolet rays to cure body filler? Something to that effect. Saw it online. I mean, I've not tried it. I know they use UV light for curing a lot of stuff that's a two-part mix. I have not tried it with body filler, so I don't know, what the results may be. But if it works, fine. I tend to let things. I don't get in a hurry, when I do my stuff. So I might do one side of the car, and while it's curing, work on the other side, and just kind of go back and forth. But I could see it being really beneficial in a collision shop or, type of thing. But I just haven't looked into it. Dale, hello from windy Northern California. Well, you and Phil might be taking cover by the sounds of it. Jerry, I pulled the left fender and put some spot welds out where it fits the cowl and rewelded. Also added melt to the edge of the seat to set the reveal. I'm expecting the door this week. Okay, good. Dawn, no rain yet. Supposed to rain later, though. Yep. Jerry says, sorry, right fender. Okay. Donald Hennessy. Hey, y'all. Denton, Texas, 65 Coupe. I think that's a new name. At least I haven't seen the name. Maybe you've been here before, but I haven't seen your name before. Marshall, howdy, y'all. Not much to report on the car this past weekend. Went to the last NHRA event at Atlanta Dragway. I thought I knew what loud was, but that's a whole different kind of loud. Way cool. Now, when you say last, I've heard people say that. Last NHRA event. Does that mean they're not doing it anymore? Is that what that implies? Or are you saying you went to the last event, recent event? Because I want to make sure how that's, I've heard people say it that way. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Are they not doing it anymore? Are they shutting it down? Chris, I'm chasing problems with the car since my paint budget was good. I went out to redo most of the interior. Good. Ray D. Hi, everyone. Marysville, Washington. Cool. Don Thompson. Yay, 2 Dons. Yeah. Dave Conville checking in. I think it's our first Dave sighting of the night. So, Marshall, the track and land has been sold. I did not know that. I don't go to drag races just because I just usually don't have the opportunity, but I had heard people saying that they were going to the last, race or last event. I didn't realize it was the actual last event. So that's not cool. I'm wondering what they're going to do. I know Atlanta Motor Speedway, they used to do like Friday night drags, and they would do side-by-side drag race down pit road. And it was nothing technical. I think they may have had some lights. I don't know, but it was just on pit road. And it was just kind of a grudge thing. It wasn't like, show up and run type of thing. Now, I don't know if they talked at some point about expanding that, but I don't know if they ever took it any further than a talk. So I don't know. Nandu, good evening, everyone. Glad you're here. Chris, NHRA is dead. When the big names got in it, now everyday Joe Blow can't afford it anymore. AHRA is making a comeback. Okay. Well, that's good. I guess. I understand what you're saying, though. It's no fun if you can't enjoy it and be part of it. It's like NASCAR events. The average person can't even fathom what it takes to do that, So I get the point of that. Roger, Atlanta Motor Speedway talked about putting a real strip there. I think they should, honestly. They've got the land for it. It's not like it's hurting anything. They should have a whole Motorplex, They should have, to me, honestly, they should have their own dirt track there, 3/8 oval, have the big racetrack, have a drag strip, and get people coming out to that stuff. They do all kinds of other stuff there during, I think they've been experimenting with stuff there. Like they'll do Christmas and lights or something. I haven't gone to it, but I'm guessing they put on some sort of big light display at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. They also do, they call it a state fair, for farmers. They've been doing that at the track, but I don't know. I grew up in Pennsylvania where when you had a state fair, it was like all week or 2 weeks or whatever. And they had, they judged animals and they judged pies and they had a demolition derby and they had tractor pulls and they had horse pulls and, all kinds of stuff really farm related. And here, what I found in the South, it's not what I've been to here, they call it a state fair or county fair, has been a lot less than that. It's just been like a sideshow type thing where they have like the little rides and stuff. You might see a couple animals, but not a county fair like I grew up with. So I don't know what they do at the racetrack as far as when they call it a state fair. I don't know. I don't know what their rules are for that. So, Chris, I'm just saying same with stock car racing. Stock car means I can go to the dealership and buy it. Well, yeah, it used to. It used to mean that. Don, they closed the dirt track in Portland, but PIR has track and drags. Okay. Bob Shoemaker, a little late. Not too bad. Only about 10 minutes. Roger, and an air show using Terra Field, but watching from the track bleachers. Well, yeah. I mean, they've tried a variety of things at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And, of course, NASCAR is their biggest draw. It got so that they even built their own highway to get people here. Yeah, I mean, there's a Highway 20 runs straight from I-75, almost straight shot to the racetrack. And, they've really tried to groom it for people to come wherever they can. And I know I've gone to Wings and Wheels or something there one time years and years ago. I know they've had some car show type things where you trade whatever, swap meet type thing. I know they've done that, but I really think they should do more with racing stuff, get different stuff going. Chris, a lot of these hobbies entertainment have lost their beginning to motivate. My dad used to tell me if a Trino whipped a Charger in NASCAR's local Merc Ford dealership, they'd process 15 orders. Yeah. I guess you're saying in one day. Yeah, they would. And you look at the cars. I mean, look at what they call they're true race cars. I will say that. The chassis, the engine, all that stuff. It's a real race car. It's an awesome race car. And then they just have the body on it. You could just about take the body off of whatever they're using. Now, I think I don't know I guess they have Fords or Mustangs and Camaros and Challengers. I don't even know. I haven't watched NASCAR in years and years and years, but I think you can almost take the one body off of one and put it on whichever one you want. It'll fit, I think. Nick Moss showing up early. Just got done numbing on some homemade chicken quesadillas, daddy time, then a little work on the Mustang. It's a good day. Cool. It is a good day. I'll say it's a good day. Dennis Paulson, hi all from Western Canada. Glad you're here. Chris wins on Sunday, sells on Monday. That's why Dale's Monty Edition sold so well. Yeah. That's why, I mean, a lot of all that stuff, it was NASCAR related. And if you went to the drag strip, you really, I mean, they didn't push it as hard, because you'd see cars run down the track and you've got 15 seconds or 13 seconds or 12 seconds, whatever, to go, oh, there goes what was that? Chevelle? I don't know, and with NASCAR, it's just especially in the old days, it was just a 3-hour commercial watching these cars race. That's all it really is. You think about it, NASCAR is just a big, long commercial. I think I've heard comedians talk about all the names and stuff like that on the cars and whatever. We're just watching a commercial for 3 hours. That's all it's become. Dave, Mustang, Camaros, and Supras. No Mopar anymore. See, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that they didn't have any Challengers or Mopars out there, because I don't watch it. I might catch up on, if there's a big crash or something, I might see it. If it shows on my YouTube feed, hey, check out somebody's crash. Okay. All right. Yep. That's all I need to see, because I just don't like the whole format now, what they're doing with the drive 30 laps, take a pit stop, get something to eat, whatever, drive another 30 laps or whatever the thing is they're doing. takes all the fun out of it in my mind. Nick, I was listening to NASCAR on the radio yesterday. We'll work on the car. It was fantastic background noise to some wrenching. Yeah. I mean, I used to say, when you listen to something like that, okay, especially when you have good announcers. And I've mentioned it before. I've joked around before about it that, I picked up this little transistor radio at a yard sale. And, well, this says integrated circuit, so this must be an advanced version. But I remember sitting in my grandmother's house listening to baseball games on the radio. That's why I have this here. It reminds me of that. And you're talking about listening to something on a radio. If you've got a good color person, that can build it up and tell you what's going on, and you can make that picture in your mind, that was always fun. So that's what I would, I remember my grandmother always, we would listen to the Pirates games, and, just having a great announcer out there making the story for you. Michael, Mopars are in NHRA, but not in NASCAR. Okay. Let's see. Chris, the drags were fun until big money guys push us backyard hot rodders out of contention. I love this pure stock stuff on YouTube. Other than that, yeah. Oh, Don. Okay. Let me see. Where are we at here? Let's see if I can get it. Don says he sent me an email. He sent me a picture. Oh, boy. All right. So Don says, I think he said his brother stopped by with a new project. Oh, and I'm going to point out, too, we're going to find out tonight how good this is working. I got a new router from Xfinity Comcast. I got tired of it. I finally said, you know what? I called him up, and I thought I would have to have some sort of like approval or some sort of thing, and I didn't. Basically, it was like I finally talked to somebody on the phone. They said, "No, you can just take it back anytime." Oh, okay. So we are on the new router right now. So hopefully, knock on wood, we don't have any glitches tonight. But Dawn sent me a picture. Look at that. It says, new project. My brother stopped by with his new project car. Whoa. Yeah. Yeah. I still say that's the best looking Camaro Dodge ever made. It's true. It's a good looking car. I do. I like that car a lot. I like the looks of those. All right. So we got that. Richard, haven't watched NASCAR in years. Boring now compared to years ago. Yes. Yes, definitely. Jessica made it. All right, cool. Michael, Chris, I like the Pro Stocks too, but John Force my favorite and makes racing fun to watch. Yeah. Oh, okay. We got some more showing up. Dave Conville. I was a big NASCAR fan for years, but then they lost their way. I'm hoping that Tony Stewart's new series will be entertaining. Well, I haven't kept up with. I know Tony was doing something, but I have not kept up with it. I hope there's some room for improvement over what they've been doing. Jerry, I prefer the endurance racing better than the strip of NASCAR like the Le Mans racing here in the USA. A $500 car plus safety running for 15 and 24 hours. That would be fun. We used to do endurance races at the racetrack back home, and it would be 200 laps on a 3/8 oval. That was the endurance of it, 200 laps. I still don't know how they kept track of who had how many laps. It was just crazy. But I wouldn't mind doing that again. I think that would be a blast. Nick, absolutely. I actually kind of prefer it. Second to actually getting rubber in my teeth and possibly rattled out by some Tim the Toolman noises. Okay. Michael, seems like it's working much better than the last couple times. Yes, I hope so. And then there was something popped up that said, do you want your, let's see, it asked me a question. Do you want your laptop to be visible to other something? And before I had that turned on to yes, and this time I put it on no. So maybe it'll stay. where it's at. Uh, what was the word? Visible? I don't know. Chris, routers I own, the one with 4 antennas. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever this Comcast, it's a Comcast router. My favorite is Top Fuel. Oh man, that's just so violent when they go by. Yeah, it is. I mean, I've been to the drag race, Atlanta drag race one time, and it's cool because well, you can walk right up to the cars basically. You get close to the cars and close to the drivers or people, not like too close, but I mean, you get really close to that stuff, and that was pretty exciting. Dawn, it has rust in all the usual places. Well, it looks good in the pic. I will say that. I mean, but we all know pictures can hide the truth. Pictures can hide the truth. But I'm sure he'll find it. That won't take much. It's just, heck yeah, a new rider. Yeah, we'll find out. Chris, Cuda and Challengers 70, particularly when GM went to the F body, a lot of people didn't like them at the beginning. Yeah. Yep. 24 hours of lemons. Best racing ever. Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing it, but they say $500. Really? So really what I could do is, Roger next door could put together a car. I could help him put that car together. And then he could say he wanted to sell it. And I could buy it from him for $500. And I only paid $500 for his car, right? Isn't that kind of how that? Seems like you could get through or get around this somehow. Rick, what kind of car is a new project? Oh, it's a. Well, I don't know exactly if it's a. I guess it's a Challenger. I can't see the pictures. I don't know what year model it is. Looks like it says Dodge on the back, so I'm going to say it's a Challenger, but I don't know if it's a. Yeah, it says Dodge on the back. I don't know what year model it is. Could be 70, 71, something like that. Don can tell us for sure. Michael, wait a minute. Pull that back off. It's amazing they get 10,000 horsepower to stick. Yeah, it is. It is quite amazing. Chris, best F body are the OG 72 Trans Ams. OG? Is that what that says? Marshall, I'm almost convinced that these cars actually move the earth beneath their tires. Crazy how quick they are. Yeah, it is crazy. And you think about the G-forces those people absorb in that process. Okay, so it's a 72 Challenger. 72 Challenger. I thought I guess Dodge. Okay, so Dodge Challenger, yeah. And Plymouth Barracuda, yeah. Okay. Jerry, now you see why the Lemons cars look a lot more expensive, just paperwork. Yep. Well, I know when they started out, it was really, they tried to stick to it. Like, buy an old Impala, in somebody's backyard, pay next to nothing for it, throw a little bit into it, and take it. But I really doubt that it's the same way anymore. Dennis Paulson Cup Racing, Kansas yesterday, 39 car field, about even with the Fords and Chevys, with 5 Toyotas. Interesting. 5 Toyotas. Walt King, sorry for the typo. I meant to say high build primer. How much should I use? And what type of sandpaper should I be using? Meaning the green. Oh, did I miss a post, Walt? Or did you? I must not have seen that until this one. Okay. I meant to say high build primer. How much should I use, and what type of sandpaper should I use? Meaning the green. I'm still a little confused by the question, but high build primer, how much should I use? Normally, you'd put like 2 coats of high build on. What I do in this instance, like Jade, um, did all the body, epoxy primer, body work on the car, 2 coats of high build, let it cure out, block sand. Use some guide coat, block sand, and find any flaws because there's going to be flaws. You're not going to get it on the first shot. Find out any flaws, rework it with body filler, whatever you need to do to fix it. Do another two coats of high build, and then block sand it down again, and hopefully you're good to go. Now the sandpaper, when I do rough stuff, I start with 100 grit, and then as I progress, I go to 320. Now the second round of high build that I put on Jade, I sanded with 400, and then I sanded it with 600 wet to make it super smooth. So I'm not sure you're asking about the green there, but hopefully that answers your question. Samuel Lisa Smith, hey, sorry I'm late. Got us on 6 to 6. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, original. Okay, sorry, Chris. My 7.7 Firebird formula gets looks, but it's the look. Oh, hey, he has a formula, a de-sticker Trans Am. Dan, more auto racing has taken a dive. Le Mans open wheel have lost their exciting edge. Watching classic race videos from the 50s and 60s is so much better. Victory by Design on YouTube DVD is great. Yeah, it'd be cool if we could go back to the old style, type of racing. But yeah, I've really kind of lost interest in most of it. Bob Noel, I just got here, but as usual, the whole gang is here. Good evening, everybody. Glad you're here, Bob. Nick, yeah, that's the race I was listening to. I don't know if it was exciting as the announcer was making it, but it seemed like he was about to eat his microphone and climb the walls. Well, they pay him to do that. The truth is, whenever you think about these announcers, I mean, they're just showmen when it comes to it. They may have an interest in racing, but if you're watching the same guys racing the same cars week after week after week after week after week after year after year after year, you're not going to get that excited. But they have to sell it. For NASCAR. Oh, so and so is doing this. Oh, he's up on the wall. Oh, all that crazy stuff. They want to make you. Oh, what's going on? I got to see. Car guy Troy, been absent from class for a bit, checking in. Glad you're here. Phil, Le Mans racing rules are easy to enforce. Winner has to be willing to sell his car for $500. Yeah. Yep. But some people are just doing it. I mean, I know how that is. Like when we raced dirt track, Roger and I, they had a rule for the engine. I forget what it was. 1,500. I don't know what the money was on the engine. I can't remember. But you could be. Some people still spend the money and be willing to give up the car just to say that they had won. I mean, there's that too. So Chris Berry in 2 years will be painting a black car. I don't know about that. Nick, man, can you imagine if they make NASCAR electric? It sound like a bunch of skateboards going by. Zoom, 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 zoom. Used to be an announcer, Barry. That was a pretty good impression. Yeah. Yep. Walt King, do you paint your car after 600 grit? I do, yes. I've had some people even say they go to 800. I mean, you could probably do it after 400, honestly. 600 is a good number. I usually, that's where I go with it. 600, I want it as smooth as I can get it. Some people will do it after 400, which 400 is pretty smooth too. But Chris Darrell Waltrip, best announcer, could relay the info of serious and the fun in the way of a racer. Yeah. Yep, he did a pretty good job. Cooter, after a couple weeks, I am finally checking back in. Well, I'm glad you're here. Let me give you the bell, Cooter. Haven't seen you. I haven't heard your senior. Let's see. I haven't seen your name in a couple weeks. So there we go. Get a better bell there. Jerry, to cross measure squareness of the Mustang unibody, can I get accurate measures from rear end suspension to the front suspension? To cross measure the squareness of the Mustang unibody, can I get accurate measurements from rear end suspension to the front suspension? I don't have those numbers. If you're asking somebody to post those, that would be great. If that's particularly what you're looking for. So if unless somebody has some good advice for Jerry, to check the squareness. Jessica, styrofoam bumper cars, not interested. Street Outlaws, also dumb. Let me give Jessica a better bell. I agree. Street Outlaws is also dumb. Let's see. Sent you an email. Pick of my next mistake. Next mistake. Next mistake. Okay. Let's see what happened. Let me see what we can download this quick and see what Dave has invested in, I'm assuming. All right, here it is. Oh, that's not too bad looking. What do you got? Let me see what it is. It says Fairlane he spotted it on Easter weekend. Has been sitting outside and finally got a sign in it this weekend. Neighbor lost his dad at the same time and has no interest in his dad's Ford. Oh, we're going to wait and see what. Okay. Well, I mean, it's not a bad looking car. I'm not sure exactly what that is worth, because you say it's what a year? I don't know if you said what year it was. It looks like, I'm going to guess 50, 56, 55, 56, something like that. 54. I don't know. I don't know what those are worth. All right, where are we at? Jessica, I can fix them. Overgun RC cars at that point. Yeah. Oh, not the numbers, just to check square. Well, I think, Jerry, the challenge you run into on figuring out if you're trying to figure out if the unibody is square itself. Because I know you've done work to the car, so that's where it becomes a challenge. If it wasn't, I'm just saying, if you didn't have it square when you did the other work to it, you may be behind the ball right now. Like, we don't know where it was at before. Now, granted, I know you got bumped into your garage, so we don't know if something happened to it because it hit the garage, or if it was kind of that way before. Because you said before that car was wrecked. So, I don't know if there's an easy way to find square with that in this situation. Typically, what you would need is something to have drop points that you could measure from. Like in the frame, there's holes and stuff that you could put a post. But the hard part is getting it square, and then having it long enough that you can draw a tape measure across, whatever. So it gets kind of complicated. So I don't know if there's an easy way to go through it at this point. Let's see here. Nick sent you a thumb drive. I have a lot of mistakes. Yeah. Steve Dickerson, hello from Murphy, Texas. Glad you're here. Car Guy Troy looks like a 56 Victoria. That sounds about right. Chris, it's hard to find cars you want. Sometimes I'm picky and have particular models I want. Yep. Dave, it's a 55. I was close. V8 manual auto restoration. Nice driver. Yep. Nick says he likes it. I like it too. It's a cool looking car. Dennis, I have 2 new spray guns, old type metal cans. Would they be okay to use for primer work at least? Yeah. Yeah, you can use those for primer. That's fine. And there's a lot of people still use those for everything. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think they use them for clear coat, but I would say I've seen it. I know people use them for primer and single stage. So, car guy Troy Butt. Oh, buy it if you haven't already. Cool cars. Yep. Mr. Cyrano, heads up. 351 Cleveland takes a special thermostat. 2 days of searching, found out I have to order one special. Oh, well, thank you for that bit of information. Steve, drop multiple plumb lines and then measure diagonals. So there's an answer from Steve. That sounds reasonable. Yeah, I just don't know how hard it is because I'm used to like rigid things I measure from. I get the plumb line sounds great. Sure. How hard is it to get a measurement? I don't know. Jerry, maybe taking to a body shop and have them put it on a frame machine might save me time before I finish the body work. It might, if they know what they're doing. It might. Phil, what are your thoughts about 1-inch wheel spacers versus moving a 65 Falcon front suspension 1-inch outboard? Well, honestly, I never really thought about it. I guess I don't know what else you would do to get it 1-inch wider. Besides like you're saying, moving everything. But like like Jade, it's got 1-inch spacers on the rear axle. I think as long as everything is bolted together correctly, you're not really hurting anything. I wouldn't go. I wouldn't want to see something with 5 inches of spacing in it. But I'm just saying, 1 inch would probably be wouldn't be that big a deal as long as everything's bolted down good. Chris, I think this car is destined to be a survivor car until I get paint. Yep. Good choice. Drive it and enjoy it. Brian, hi all. I have a question I have forgotten the answer to. I have some IND enamel paint. I want to use it to practice. Can I reduce that and clean my gun with lacquer thinner, or do I need enamel reducer? That is a good question. I would assume, we know how that goes. I would assume lacquer thinner would work, but I don't have the good answer for that. So if anybody has any input on the question here for Brian, he wants to spray some, when you say IND enamel, I don't know what IND is. He wants to be able to clean up the gun with lacquer thinner, or does he have to use enamel reducer? So, anybody have an answer for that? Marshall, Jerry, I think Grease Rookie may have found Ford specs. Check his channel and never a bad idea with a good frame guy. That's true. Okay, so Brian's saying industrial. Okay, industrial enamel. And when can I reduce that and clean my gun with lacquer thinner, or do I need enamel reducer? I don't have a good answer. I'll just say that. But if somebody else does, that would be great. Brian saying 3-4-5 method for checking square. Okay. Earl, hi Barry. Apologies if you have told us already. Are you going to cut and buff Jade? Yes. Yes. In fact, I was going to talk about that in just a second. Chris Greenaway, those vintage air kits have a heater core, correct? Yes, they do. Yep, they sure do. Jeff Jones, I just sprayed epoxy on my MGA body, but do you have any suggestions on how to spray into tight corners? So use a small gun for those areas. That is a tough thing to do. I mean, I don't know what kind of gun you're using. I've seen, like my guns, you can really tune them to where you can get the fan pattern really small, just the air pressure down, and it just kind of almost spits it out. it's not like the big spray. It makes a really small pattern, and I'm able to just kind of dance it in there, But it wouldn't hurt to have a small gun. Um, the paint kit. Let me see if I can grab that real quick. Talk amongst yourselves. I've had this kit for a few years now. This is ATD 6900. Okay. This is what I've used. I painted three or four vehicles with this kit. The thing is, this is not an expensive kit. This is like $100 kit at the paint store. When I bought this, it came with a primer gun and a base gun. And that's the red and blue ones you've seen me use before. But it also came with this little touch-up type gun. I've never taken it out of the box. But there's this little gun that comes with it. Little tiny thing. That would be ideal for getting in tight spaces like you're talking about. And when I was talking to my PPG rep, he said that body shop guys will buy these gun kits. They'll use them for a year and then throw them away. They said it's a cheap kit, but they said they spray fine, and then they'll use them for a year and be done with them. So that might be something you could look into. Is one of those little guns like that. That would be probably very helpful in that situation. Bad Harry. Hi, all, better late than never. I'm busy selling Mustang parts. More money for the 67 project. Nothing wrong with that. Roger, I'm thinking lacquer thinner will clean it, but you'd need enamel reducer to thin it to spray. Good point. Yes, good point. Mr. Cyrano, my 70 Mach 1, I found a complete diagram on eBay. I forgot to turn the compressor off again. Of all the measurements of the frame to the floor, crosshatch, 2 foot by 18 poster. All the measurement. Hold on a second. Okay. So you found a complete diagram on eBay of all the measurements of the frame to the floor, crosshatch, 2 foot by 18 poster. That sounds interesting. Bob Shoemaker. Industrial paint can be cleaned easily with cheap gun cleaner. So there's an answer from Bob. Crash Rider. Lacquer thinner will work just fine to clean the gun. So we got 2 good answers on that. Harvey, reduce with the correct enamel reducer and clean the gun with lacquer thinner. I think we found our answers. Everybody's helping out. That's good. Mr. Cerno, my 70 Mach 1. Oh, okay. I read that once already. Jeopardy theme song plays when Barry leaves. Yep. Enamel to clean, enamel paint. Enamel to clean, enamel paint, or look like oil and water. Yeah, you don't want that. Denny Alvey, 3M PBS paint cup work upside down. Barry used them, good for tight spaces. Yeah, they do work pretty well. Brian, I've always missed it in the tight areas, and at the same time as I jammed the car, then proceeded as normal. Never had an issue. Yeah, and that's that's what I'm going to be doing with Jade. In fact, I was going to talk about that as well. So I'd already planned on jamming the door openings I'm going to take the doors off the car and I'll jam the A-pillar, the inner, let's say, rocker area, and the B-pillar. I will put spray in all that area. And I will spray the inside of the doors, the body color, and remount them to the car. And then whenever everything is painted, it'll get overspray into all those areas again. So the idea is that I'm not painting panels off the car. You can do that with certain colors and get away with it. I'm still hoping that I'm okay with these because I painted them independent of the car, but I'll spray the whole jam, all the way around, and then spray behind or the toe kick area, the side panel underneath the cowl, and the edges of the fender on the back side, stuff like that, and put them up in place, and then spray the whole car. Now, what I'll probably do, I was debating on this, I'll probably pull the fenders off and clear coat them off the car. So I can do the body by itself, the doors and the rest of the body, get in behind or the front edge of the door and the hinges and all that area, and then spray the fenders by themselves. So with that, let me show you something. And I've shown this, I know I've shown pictures of it before, if nothing else. But when I was doing the prep work on the extensions for Jade, of course, sanded this down with 600 Baby Smooth. I take all thread. In this case, I have 3 pieces of all thread that are about maybe 3 inches, something like that, 3 inches long. And what I'll do, as you can see, these are left over from when I painted Mystique. Same thing. This is the Acapulco blue if it was on Mystique. So I'll thread these in. I'll run a nut down onto the thread. I'll put a washer on each one of these, put it up against the car, put a washer on the inside, and put a nut on the inside, and leave a gap, maybe half or 3/4 of an inch, And what happens with that, when you're spraying, you're getting the front edge of the panel, you're getting the back edge of the tail panel, where this sits. Color gets everywhere where you need it. And then when you spray clear, you're not fighting with it. You're not having to have this up against an edge and you're trying to spray that, And the beauty of it is you're not laying this flat. So you're keeping the spray pattern as you were when you sprayed it. So that's one of the things I do. Now also I will do this with the extensions up front, the headlight buckets. I'll get some all thread, make my whole deal again so that I can mount those and they can stay close to the fender and not get weird spray patterns. Let's put it that way. Let's see. So Jessica, Jessica says, Jeff, you can also airbrush it if it's a hobby airbrush, if it's a small spot. That's true. That's a airbrush is a really handy little gun. Okay, so he'll get some enamel reducer. Good. Bob, compressor noise is so much better than before. Yeah, I know. I'm so happy it's outside. Denny, local car guy, uses gasoline to thin his industrial paint. I joked with him and asked if he used premium to slow down the drying for better gloss. Old timers used to do that. They used to use gas, which you're like, really? Would that work? Yeah, it worked, but would not recommend it. Jerry, 1/3 to reduce, 2/3 to paint. Ensure that the reducer paint is from same manufacturer. Pour one half of the enamel paint. Add the reducer while stirring. Failing to stir continuously might add lumps to the mixture. Good point, Jerry. Good point. Chris, good news. Just dropped a socket into the heater core this weekend. Oh, how did you do that? That's not easy to get a socket into the heater core. Can't go far. Should be able to go far. Should be able to get that out with a magnet. I would hope you get it out with a magnet. Jan, the DeVilbiss FLG5 can spray primers, fillers, base coat, and clear with professional results and will last you a lifetime. Good call. Chris, what is the best material to use on a rusted part on my car to restore the area? What is the best material to use on rusted parts? There's a variety of things. Typically, it's something acidic that's going to eat the rust away. There's a wide variety of stuff out there. I've used navel jelly. People have used vinegar. People have used molasses. There's a lot of different things, but it's going to have to be some sort of acidic material that'll eat the rust off. And then, of course, once you get that out of the way, you have to prep it. Get it treated so that it's not going to rust back so fast. But anyway, everybody has their own opinions. I've used, like I said, I've used navel jelly. I've used products from Pour 15, different things like that. So I've also used a product, 3X Chemistry, Rust Dissolver. Stuff works fantastic if you can find it. I think I bought mine at Summit Racing. So 3X Chemistry. 3X, not XXX. 3X. Nick, if you were going to French the rear taillights in, how would you do it? I'm still thinking about that. I saw it again the other day and kind of liked it. On the Mustang? You want to put the taillights on the inside. I haven't really looked at that. I don't have an answer for that, Nick, because I haven't thought about that. That never crossed my mind. Sorry. Rick, problem with my car is a metallic paint color. Hard to match. Wish I kept it more simple years back. Yep. Bad hairy details like leaving a gap and painting is difference between a good job and a great job. Yes. I agree with you. And it's those things that you just don't realize. You don't think about. Anybody like I've said, laying a panel down, or if you're like stand a hood up and paint it. No, it's got to have the same pattern that you would use if it was laying flat, because that's how you're going to paint the fenders. That's how you're going to paint the roof. That's how you're going to paint the deck lid. It's all going to be similar. Jessica, fuel was ethanol free back then. That is true. That's fantastic news, Chris. Adrian, how do I make my V6 Charger sound like a beast? You put a V8 engine in it. That's about all I can say. A V6 Charger. There's probably some Flowmasters or something you could put on there, but it's still going to sound like a V6 with Flowmasters. It's not going to have that V8 beast rumble, but about all I can offer for you. Jeff, super sticker. Thank you, man. Appreciate that very much. That'll go to good use. Chris, Firebird window defrost vents are a Y shape straight down into the heater core. Good thing I'm going to the vintage air kit. Yeah. Also, not into the heater core itself. You dropped it into the chamber. Into the chamber. Yeah. When you say heater core, I'm thinking like the little radiator with the two little tubes in it. Not the actual duct system underneath the dash. Brian, sheet metal and welding wire for the rust. Yeah. Oh, Nick, take the resonators off, Aiden. Well, there you go. That may be an option as well. Take the resonators off of the V6 Charger. No comment. What's up? I have 2004 Infinity. My AC blows nothing but hot air. Do you think it's the AC compressor? Yeah, that's a really tough question to answer. My son has a 2003 Toyota, and it does the same thing. And it wasn't the compressor; it was some other module underneath the dash. I know that they told him it would be like $2,000 to fix it. It's $1,500 to fix it. That's all the car's worth. So he just puts the windows down. See how much. See if. Make sure you have Freon first. You know. Yeah, Rick says AC may need to be charged. Yeah, and that's the first thing you can do is check to see if it has Freon and enough Freon. Because if it doesn't have enough, it doesn't matter. You know, it has to have the right amount for it to work properly. That's your first thing to figure out. Compressor, you should be able to see. I mean, the Freon's going to have to be there for everything to work correctly. So you may be able to see if the compressor engages or not. You know, whenever you turn the AC on, you should hear something like a click, and you should see the compressor itself turning because it's a clutch system, so it's independent until you turn the switch, and then it engages the clutch and makes the pulley spin, the front pulley. So, but check your Freon levels first, or your R134. Chris says, Aiden, Magnaflow duals. My buddy had 09 police charger, sounded good. Yeah, but was it a V6? That's the question. V6 is what he's dealing with. Alex, should I buy 05, 09 Mustang V6 or will it have problems? That I don't know. I'm not familiar with any issues with those cars. I haven't kept up with the later model stuff. I know that's 05 to 09, but that's pretty much later than what we have normally we talk about. But it probably depends on the mileage overall. If you're worried about the engine problems or transmission, if it has 250,000 miles on it, I'd probably avoid it. If it's got 80 to 120, 130, 40, you're probably okay for a while. But I can't say how long it would be good. Let's see. Dale, you did not mention the roof rail area that is seen when rail and weather strip installed. Painter missed it on my 60 Mustang on one side. Let's see, what? You did not mention the roof rail area that is seen when rail and weather strip installed. Painter missed it on my 60 Mustang on one side. That's odd. I don't know how he missed it. If he sprayed it on one side, he should have sprayed it on both, unless somebody else taped it up. I've had instances where people have not taped the car properly, So depending on who taped it up, that's probably your biggest problem. But if he did all the work himself, then it's on him. It's on him. Jan, I use phosphoric acid on rust. Works great and protects the bare metal for years. Use acetone to clean the metal before priming. Thank you, Jan. Good answer. I don't know what you're asking, Tobias. Brian, bad blend door is a common problem with hot air. So there you go. That's another option for the Nissan or the Infiniti. It could be the door itself is not moving correctly. That could be the problem. Good call, Brian. Rick, 4.0 engine in an 05 Mustang runs nice. My dad had one, and it has been problem-free, owned since new. So there's an endorsement from Rick on a V6. Mason, I want to ask you what kind of stereo system do you have out in the shop? Also, what's the model of stereo you have out in the shop? I just have an old Iowa AIWA stereo cassette CD player picked up at a yard sale. Nothing fancy. That's all I have. Tobias, what car got? Is he asking about the engine? Or about the car? I don't know which car you're asking about. If you're asking about the Mustang or the Infiniti or the Challenger. Chris saying V6. No comment. Thank you. Okay. Bob Shoemaker. Some of those late models have a rubber coupling and a compressor clutch that turns loose. So that could be a problem too. Haven't dealt with that. But that could be a problem as well. So good call, Bob. I want to show you something. A couple things since we're talking about tools and spray guns and whatever. I was working on Jade, and I decided that I was going to remove the wipers, the post, and so because I was concerned that I wouldn't get the paint and the clear coat down in the little recess area there. So I was like, all right, fine, let's do it. Let's get under the dash and get it out of the way. Well, they're 7/16 bolt on the post for the wiper. So I started using a wrench. And I was like, I can't really get in there very well. I was going to get a ratchet. I was like, this is going to take forever, because the bolts are kind of long. And I was like, boy, I need a 1/4 inch or a little air ratchet. I was like, wait a minute. My memory kind of pinged. I said, I have a 1/4 inch air ratchet. This little 1/4 inch air ratchet. Now, it's hard to tell right now because I've cleaned off most of it. But if you see this side over here that's all dark, this side's shiny, all nice and shiny, and this side's all dark. The reason for that, this came out of my airplane toolbox, my aircraft toolbox. So I had, areas in that toolbox where I had everything designated. So you can always know where you're missing a wrench or a ratchet or socket or screwdriver or whatever. Well, in the one air tool section of the toolbox, I had a big piece of foam that I cut it out, and I made areas where you could set air tools. Well, I quit using that toolbox technically in, oh gosh, probably 2003, maybe. No, probably less, probably earlier than that. I probably quit using that box in 1999. So this box sits in my garage, and I've always just left it alone because it was my aircraft stuff, right? And if I ever needed my aircraft tools, I could just go there and I know where they are. Well, no longer. I pulled my little 1/4 inch air ratchet out of the aircraft box and put it to use and pulled off those posts for the windshield wiper. Technically I'm retired from working on airplanes, but the point being, this had sat there for so long that the foam had collapsed, and this is what stuck to it, all this foam. And it just sunk into the foam was like that thick. It just sunk into it. So I had to dig it out and scrape off the edge of the junk off the foam so that I could use it to take off the bolts for the windshield wiper arms. But I guess I need to start digging into that box more and getting out some of my good tools. Mason, the engine's in my grandpa's 08 V6 convertible is 3.5 V6. Is that a good engine? It's probably as good as any. I'm not familiar with those. Or is a Pontiac V6 a bad engine? I couldn't tell you. Brian, I have a 96 Ranger with a 4.0 V6. I have known let's go 500,000 miles with proper care. Yeah, and I think those engines had they have a timing chain, right? I think they have a timing chain, whereas, because somebody contacted me one time. I forget what year it was. It was a Ranger. It might have been a 2005 model. I don't know, but it was a V6, and they wanted the timing. They thought it had a timing belt, and they wanted it changed. And I said, I'm pretty sure that's a timing chain, and I really don't think you need to change it. I want it changed. And I was like, I really don't think you want to change it. I said, nope, I'm going to pay you to change this timing chain. So I did. Nothing wrong with it, but they wanted that peace of mind to know that they had a new timing chain in it. Jessica, I think he wants to know what cars you have. Oh, is that what he's asking? I'm not sure. For me, what I have right now, it's a 68 Mustang. It's in the back. There's another 68 Mustang. It's sitting. 68 Camaro that's sitting outside. 68/2006 GMC truck. 31 Model A. And some drivers. Suburban, a little Honda, stuff like that. Derek Pro is here. Glad you're here. Hope all is well. Nick, oh, look at that little baby ratchet. I think you actually left that in the back pocket of your pants and went through the wash. Yeah. It's just a cute little thing. But boy, is it handy. Got right in there, man. Broke those bolts loose and nothing flat. Anthony Brown, my starter sounds like it's chewing up the flywheel. Could I shim it? And is that a good permanent fix? You can shim it. What's your vehicle? What year model? What do you have in it? What engine? Blah, blah, blah. Because, shimming is not uncommon. I know Chevys in particular had a lot of shimming that had to happen. Sammy, the bike is looking great. Can we hear it run? Nope. Can't hear it run. There's no oil in it. So I wouldn't even want to start it either way. Maybe when it's all put together. Maybe it'll be, something, a video on it being all together. Jason, hi. Glad you're here, Jason. Bad Harry, 3.5 is a great engine. We have 348,000 kilometers on my daughter's, and it runs great. 348,000 kilometers. I'm not going to do the math on that. Nick, I double-checked to make sure I have the right flywheel and starter combo before shimming anything. Good point, Nick. Good point. I got to get some coffee. Okay. Harvey, my 95 Ranger has 400,000 miles on it. The 4.0 V6 motor, great engine. Okay. You've got some endorsements there. So Jude, hi, is it worth getting an 05 Mustang V6 for a 20-year-old? I would probably rather have a 20-year-old in a V6 Mustang than a V8 Mustang. I'll say that. But what I would recommend, honestly, I know it's cool to have a Mustang. I know that much. I got all of my kids drove sedans. I didn't get them anything sporty. I didn't want to get him anything that could get him in trouble. Now, 20 years old, he's probably got some driving time under his belt. But mine started off as, at 15, driving a Toyota Camry, I think a Chevy Aveo, and a Ford Escort. That's what my kids had. But that was a 16. So as time has gone on, now they're actually still driving. I think they're really driving the same vehicles, sort of. My daughter now has a Kia Sportage, and my oldest son still has this Toyota Camry that he's been driving since 15, and my other son has a Mazda 3, which you've all seen videos on those cars. So, with being a 20-year-old, a V6 is probably a good choice. Good choice if you're looking for, a sporty type of car. Nick, that's 5 miles, Barry. Yeah, that's 348,000 kilometers. It's 5 miles. Chris, my car project should probably take a back seat so I can get a gobbler. Well, get them while you can. Ben Harry says, Nick, it's like 200,000 miles. And it's a quarter mile at a time. Rick, 1/4-inch air ratchet, very useful. Yes, very useful. And that I think I have a little 3/8 butterfly impact. Pretty sure I do. It's a little 3/8 impact gun, and it has a butterfly control on the back of it for really tight spaces as well. Because when you get into an airplane and you're in tight spaces, you want small tools to get the job done. Chris Berry, I'm 21 with a 400 smog block V8. Yeah. Honestly, that 400 smog V8 is probably close to the same horsepower as that V6. Just saying, because they really bogged those things down when they had all that smog junk on there. Madtown, is a 03 Mustang GT a good first car? Is it a good first car? I'm going to say no. No. If you're talking about driving like a 16-year-old or something, no. Get them a little Toyota Camry or something. Get them a little 4-door sedan, let them mess that car up, and then later on in life, they can get a Mustang. Nick, get them a Ford Tempo like I had and earn those miles. Jude, you're welcome. Dan, it's unfortunate Barry can't start the bike. Those sparks silencers are rowdy. I'll make sure to take videos, send it to Barry once it's back up and running. He can post it if he wants to. Okay. Sounds good, Dan. Jessica, V6 El Camino, so he can move himself out. I like it. Brian, hey, Barry, there are plenty of later year Stangs that are less than sporty. Yes, there are. You're right. You're right. Rick, 216 miles, 216,000 miles for 348K. Thanks for Alexa having the answer. Thank you, Rick. Cooter, I put my 3 daughters in 6-cylinder Nissan Muranos. Reasonable size and power to give a dad a peace of mind. Yeah. Well, like I said, my oldest son, he started off with that 03 Camry. He's still driving it. He's still driving that car. And I did have to redo the head on it. You know, it had the bolts pull out of the block, but that's the only major repair I've done to that car. No transmission work. I think I put a wheel bearing on one side. I can't even remember the last time I put brakes on that car. It just runs. Just runs and runs and runs and runs and runs. It's not pretty. It's a very vanilla car. It's not something you're going to go, ooh, an 03 Camry. Look at that. Or 01, whatever it is. But you talk about dependable, other than the AC, which is screwed up. I mean, it just keeps on running. Steve, I'm living the timing belt dream right now. Daughter's 02 V6 cord broke the timing belt. In the process now pulling ahead to see how many valves are bent. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's no fun. Chris still zippy for 77. Hits 85 miles per hour just fine. If the rear wasn't 243 open, if it had the 308, it would be zippier. Yeah. I get it. Barry, can you buy all the 65 68 fastbacks in any shape and ship them to me? I can't believe what things are selling for. I sent you a picture of a 68 that sold as soon as it was listed for $7,500. Please don't tell me. Let's look at these pictures because I have a sad fastback story that I'm going to share with you as well. Really sad. So we're going to pull these pictures up that Bad Harry has sent to me. So he's saying this sold 68. It's sold as soon as it was listed for $7,500. Yeah. Yep. I'm not surprised. People are going crazy for these things. Not surprised at all. I can't read the whole ad. I don't know what it says, but yeah. Really not surprised. Let me tell you. I think I don't know if I don't know if I shared it before or not, but I have some friends who one of their relatives, older gentleman, had a 68 fastback, V8 4-speed car that was sitting on a trailer, and somebody had I think they'd taken it apart and then put it back together, but it needed restored. But I looked the car over and it was solid. I mean, it was a solid car. It only had some dents in it. Really. That was the bodywork, some dents. From what I could see, the floors were solid, the rockers, torque boxes, everything was there. But it needed completely redone. And this was a couple years, 2-3 years ago that I saw it. And I said, does he want to sell it? He said, well, not really. Well, what would you give him for it? So I thought it over and I thought it over, and this was like a couple years ago. I said, "I'll give you 7,500 for it." You know, I mean that was a legit number. I said, "I think that's probably fair at that time." He said, "No," and they implied he wanted a lot more money for it. So I just kind of I asked about it a couple times, over the last year, and never really. They said no, he doesn't want to sell it, not going to sell it. Then I found out 2 weeks ago. Well, I don't know how long ago, but I heard about it like a week or two ago. He sold it. Somebody got themselves a 65 complete 65 fastback for $6,500. 68 fastback, sorry, 68 fastback for $6,500, and I was like, "What? He sold it?" And they said, "Yeah, he sold it. He didn't tell us. He just sold it on his own." And I was like, "I offered him more than that for the car. I still would have given him that for it, more." You know, somebody got themselves. To me, they got a free car. They really did. They got a free car. 6,500. That's nothing for that car. Nothing. All right, let's see. Chris, better. How about that GT? Okay, I'm not sure what you're asking there. Avest Bavari just subscribed, looking to join the Mustang community. Well, welcome to the channel. Glad you're here. Steve, water pump is leaking. I actually had the timing belt kit and water pump part sitting in the garage. Took the car 2 miles to the car wash to degrease it. The belt broke on the way home. Oh, man. That is not cool. That's really disappointing. Oh, that's not cool. I hate that. Cooter, there are only a few crossovers with V6. Muranos and Ford Edge models complained until she drove a four-cylinder and tried to enter the interstate. Yeah. Yep. Rick, I gave my daughter a 2008 Toyota Corolla. Yeah, great little car. Great little car. I actually had a friend one time, a young woman who worked for us at the body shop, and she was looking to buy. And Nick, she actually drove a Tempo. Just so you know, an old Tempo was her car, and she had gotten to the point where she said, "I want to buy a car," and she was interested in, like a two-door something, some sort of, more sporty car. And I said, "Don't do it. Don't do it." And she said, "Why not?" She said, "That's what I want." I said, "No, you don't." I said, "You think you want a sporty little two-door car." I said, "But let's think about what you're going to use it for. Let's think about if you're going to go, like she likes to go camping." I said, "Are you going to pack up your stuff in a little two-door sports car and be happy? Are you going to be able to put stuff, you want to put something in the back seat, you got to wedge it behind your seat? Are you going to be able, I made her think about it and think about it. And then I pointed out, we found I don't know, it was a little Hyundai or Kia, 4-door hatchback, smaller 4-door hatchback, kind of like the, bigger than the Honda Fit that I'm driving right now, but a 4-door hatchback. I said, "Let's take a look at this car." And I went with her to the dealership, and she started looking it over, and she realized she didn't want a 2-door little sports car anymore. She wanted a car that had a back seat and a hatch, and she could use it, So that's where I try to make you think about, what are you going to use it for, And you can commute with it's great to commute in a Mustang, cool, but really get yourself a little 4-door hatchback car, drive it all over the place, save yourself on insurance, save your gas money, That's just my opinion. Brian, my first car was 71 Plymouth Fury with a 383 big block, but it was a Plymouth Fury, so also less than sporty. I don't know. 383 big block, it's sort of sporty. It would go fast in a straight line. Just don't take a turn. Gordon, has anyone seen a YouTube channel called Ellie's Garage? 15-year-old girl storing on a 65 Falcon. Nice channel to watch. Have not. Might have to check it out. Battery, nothing else comes with it, just what you see. Oh gosh. That's, yeah. Yeah. Edward, build your son a nice rod. Well, I if you're talking about my sons, I told them, I said, if when they were growing up, I said, if you want to build something, we'll build it, but you have to help. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do the work all by myself, and then you enjoy it. Nope. I said, you're going to come out in the garage, you're going to get dirty, you're going to weld, you're going to everything. They never took me up on it. They weren't that interested. Okay, so we'll skip over Chris. Nick's, oh yeah, Nick has seen that apparently that channel. Okay. Michael Anderson. Hey Joe, my 04 Lincoln Town Car hesitates on acceleration 40 to 55, transmission replacement time, transmission repair time, or coil packs. I run premium fuel, 145,000 miles, service always complete. I'm guessing it's a dealership. 04 Lincoln Town Car. It could be any one of those, honestly, but depending on how it's driven, I would probably lean towards the transmission itself. Coil packs, you're going to probably sense that all the time, having a problem. Transmission, I mean, if nothing else, I don't know if you've ever had the fluid changed out of it, filter change, that sort of thing, that may help. But then we have, Roger says, Michael, I would do coil packs first. Okay. He actually has some experience with not a Lincoln Town Car, but Expedition. So I would take Roger's word for it more than mine at this point, because I have not messed with those. So I really can't give you a good answer, but I will say it may not hurt to get the fluid change in the transmission at the minimum. Dan, just getting a side shot of the bike behind you. So inspiring. It's looking so good. Dying to see that tank sprayed. Yeah, me too. I want to get it sprayed. Steve, dang, that's too bad. Okay. Michael says, thanks, hindsight. Yes. Chris, if you're wanting a beginner classic car, F-bodies are great. 75 to 81. Also, if you want to stand out, I've been looking around at a 70 Cougar body. Yep. Cougar folks need to get used to inflation. Heard today on Barron's that rental companies are buying low mileage used cars to fill their fleets as they can't source new vehicles. Yikes. Yeah, better keep what you have. Keep what you have. Nick, she drove a Tempo, woman of class and fine taste. Yes. Avarti, the ad says that the I6 turns. I don't know what you're asking there. Chris, my first vehicle I had to buy 06 or 08 Dodge Dakota with 140,000 miles for $10K. Oh, last year I wanted a small truck. Okay. Nick, or are you going to keep driving the Tempo and get decapitated by the seatbelt every time you step in? Yeah, it kept you had to be nimble. Get out of the way. Jessica, my brother sold Dad 64 Chevelle for $2,500 because they were short on money, but he just picked up a 64 two-door Chevelle wagon for $9,500 plus shipping. Why would I be mad? Oh, man. That's messed up. Cooter, my daughters have all pointed out that my first car was a Mustang 66 I still have, and therefore they should get modern Mustangs as well. Nice try, girls. Yeah, nice try. I'm going to skip over that one. I'm not sure what that question is about. JDM. Going to pass on that one. Wagon Rod. New name. 76 Buick Century Special. Most fun ever had in the car. Must have been a coming of age thing. Yeah. Nick. I'd rather restore my old Tempo then buy that dang fastback shell for $7,500. Yeesh, that's ridiculous. Yeah. Phil, can I be your son? Sure. But you got to pay rent. Rent's kind of high. Mopar, no car. Required question. Mopar, GM, or Ford? Personally, Mopar. Well, I would guess that by your name. Me, I'm a car guy. Period. Just car guy. Grew up in a junkyard. I've seen them come. I've seen them go. I hated to see them go. But I've been around so many different cars. I just can't say, well, I'm only this brand or only this brand. Doesn't work. Doesn't work for me that way. Mohammed, I'm not going to have an answer for that. Buying a Dodge Charger GT 2019. What am I looking for with regards to maintenance costs? Also, is a good daily driver vehicle. Dodge Charger GT. I don't have a good answer for that because I don't know. I'm not familiar with them. I mean, I deal with old cars. Couldn't give you any idea what the maintenance cost would be. As far as a daily driver, I'm sure it would be, but it's up to you on that. Just gonna have to put gas in it all the time, I guess. Roger. So there's some information for Michael about the Lincoln. I'll let you read that. I'm not going to read that. Derek, agree with hindsight. Can break down. Okay, yeah. Problems with the oil. Dave Britton checking in. Glad you're here. Brian, town car, check the simple stuff like fuel filter, although that specific speed, 40 to 55, throws me. Yeah. So there's another response. Can you hear that thunder? So there was another response about the coil packs from Roger. So hope that helps. Cooter, when I got my 66 when I was 15, my dad supervised as I did all the work so I could learn how to work on it. I cherish those memories. Modern cars don't lend themselves to those life lessons. That is very true. All right. Samuel Lisa, a good motor, a good. You got some words mixed up there and there. I don't know what you're saying. A good motor or engine means I don't know what that says. Sorry. Ben, 90 watching tonight so far. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a good number. Maybe because the weather's terrible and people are inside not doing things. Buckeye Jim, if you had to do it again, would you have used floor clip around steering column? Floor clip. Around the steering column. You're talking about on a Mustang? I'm not sure what you're asking. I have to rephrase that. Let's see. Yep. Oh, so he had a problem with his self decapitating seatbelts. Buckeye 68 4x4. Okay, so you're asking. You're asking if you had to do it over again, would you have used floor clip around steering column? I guess I'm not familiar with what you're asking me. So, Nick, you're going to feel bad if his actual name is Mopar No Car. Like Ricky Bobby, right? Steve Dickerson, Barry, what is the worst vehicle you ever had you couldn't wait to get rid of? Worst vehicle was probably my first vehicle. We have over 100 people watching. Cool. Worst vehicle that I ever drove and I think I've driven some real crappy cars, but the first thing I had was a 74 AMC Matador. I think it was 74, 75. You really can't tell. They're just butt ugly cars, period. And it was a 6-cylinder automatic, 4-door. black upper half, green lower half on the body line, like the trim on the side, painted with a brushes and rollers, I think. Uh, Plaid interior, green and black plaid interior. Probably the worst car. I know it was the first car assigned to me by my dad. He said, "There's your car, drive it. That's what you get." And so I did. I drove it about a week until I managed to rip the exhaust off of it. Went over a jump. Went over a jump. And when I landed, the whole exhaust fell off the car. And so rather than put another exhaust system on it, my dad said, junk it. So I was more than happy to get rid of that car. Michael, do you think a 245 rear end paired with a 308 first gear would be a problem for a daily driver? Oh, that's too many parameters for me to answer at this point. 308 first gear? I'm not even sure what a standard first gear is. Somebody with some more number knowledge, maybe give Michael an answer on that. I don't have time to think about that. Jessica, that Dodge would be a V6 all-wheel drive, not a hot rod, and trans will go out around 100,000 if you're lucky. Yep. Jason, what are your thoughts on the 68 Impala Fastback? It's okay. I'll say this. I like the 68 Riviera. I love the body on that car. Love it. Beautiful car. The 68 Impala was meant to be similar in appearance. I don't think it pulled it off as well. It's still a decent looking car. But again, I kind of lost interest in the Impalas after 66. Just me personally. I mean, a 67, they started to get a little funky looking, and 68, 69, and 70, So I'm not a fan of that particular year of the Impala, but they're still a cool car. I mean, the Fastback, it's a cool car, but that's about as far as I can go with that. I mean, they're getting hard to find. I know that. Hard to find. Let's see. Steve, so funny. We were in the middle of tornadoes and thunderstorms. It thundered here in Texas right when you asked if you heard that thunder. Yeah, they've had storm warnings for us most of the day. Derek, he means floor plan replacement around column? I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay. So Nick is answering the gear question. So hopefully that helps. I'm not going to read through that one. Too many words. Don, just started watching. Like what you do. Very helpful. Thank you for that, Don. Or Donald. I don't know if you go by Donald, but I said Don. Let's see. Is the Ford Ranger the greatest truck ever created? Nope. It's not. Probably, if you really want to be honest, the Toyota Hilux, is probably the best truck ever built. Just saying. Not some Range Rover or F-150 or Chevy this or Dodge that. As far as just a usable truck that lasts forever and ever and ever, I'd probably go with the Toyota Hilux. You get one of those with a diesel engine in it from the early mid 80s, in that era, 90s even, I guess. You can't really kill them. So just my opinion. Others may think differently. Nick saying a 287 first gear and 350 is about perfect. Okay. Bad Harry, Chevette, worst car I ever drove. They used to have a commercial on the radio for, I think it was Longhorn. And I don't even know. It was something about it. They would say a powder blue Chevette. I remember that song. Like, I forget what the wording was, but they talked about a powder blue Chevette. So yeah, Chevettes were not great cars. But I will say this, if I'm not mistaken, they were rear wheel drive though, So it was one of the few little cars that was actually rear wheel drive. rather than front wheel drive. Dave Britton, Little Store for you. A week ago, I had to cut a seatbelt off of an 8-year-old boy in a parking lot. His mother was screaming he was strangling. Luckily, I had my fishing knife with me. Well, that's scary. That's pretty scary. Glad you were there to help. Derek, the AMC sounds great, Barry. That is a classic now. Yeah. Yeah, it was a classic then. Steve accidentally on purpose ripped the exhaust off the Matador. Yes, I did. That was the thing, though. Every car I drove, I would take over the jump. What it was just a hump in the road where there was actually an overhead railroad track, and they'd use the corrugated steel to make the tunnel, to support the track. But for some reason, there was a hump right in the middle of it. And so I figured out 55 was about the right speed to get. I mean, you'd only get maybe, 3-4 feet in the air, but it would land on almost like a down ramp. So it was kind of a decent type of thing, but going the other way, it didn't quite have the same landing effect. And so I would take almost every car I had and I would hit that thing. The Matador, it was all I could do to get it up to about 50, 55 and hit that. Exhaust came off. But the really fun one was the Renault Le Car. The Renault Le Car R5. That thing, man, it would land and just roll. It was a really fun little car to drive in the 80s, mind you. Dave, he had wrapped it around his neck while she was putting stuff in his car and it retracted. Oh, that is scary. That is scary. A vest. I guess it's a vest. I found a 66 Mustang Coupe on Marketplace for $400. Definite project car. Oh, the i6 turns over, but it needs a new console, dash, floor pan, seats, and the top of the part of the frame, the doors cut out. Yeah. You got some work cut out for you. Now, not all cars had consoles, just so you know. But if it needs all that other stuff, you're gonna have some work to do. Definitely have some work to do. And I have all the videos all out there to help you with that. So check out all the videos. Randall checking in from Mountain Green, Utah. Glad you're here. Little stagger. Jerry, a 308 first gear will get you off the line, but really depends on the rest of the gears. Are you trying for increased mileage? Good question on that. Don Thompson, that's a pretty tall first gear, 745. Michael Anderson, typical Dodge 70s first gear, 266 or 245 first gear. Okay. Kuderlev bought a Pontiac 6000 as my second car. What was I thinking? Yeah. I wouldn't. We had one Pontiac. I think we had two Pontiacs. And well, if you count my wife's Fiero, 3 Pontiacs. But we had a Grand Am. Never buy a Grand Am. Don't do it. I don't care how good a deal you get on it. Don't buy it. All kinds of electronic issues. Flutter, flicker, all kinds of crazy stuff. Don't buy it. And the thunder rolls. Yeah, so you can hear the thunder? It's happening. Buckeye Jim. I have a 68 C30 on an 02 1500 chassis. Shifter is a problem. Okay. So have you seen my videos? Did you see what I did with my 68? I put or is that what you're asking me about? Because I have an 06 2500 HD chassis underneath my 68 GMC truck. Is that what so shifter is a problem. I get it. Okay, so Michael's talking to Jerry. Derek Pro. Go at Hilux models. You're correct. Unbreakable. The new one's not so much. Bring back the old days. Yes. Yep. When they built those trucks, they built them to be serious work trucks in a sense and be abused and do things. And then, of course, as time went on, they were like, we made these too good. Let's downscale this a little bit, We can't keep selling one if they're too good a truck. That's why they talk about like the F-150, the best selling truck in America. Well, that's because people just keep trading them in and getting another one, hoping they don't have any more problems. Of course, that's the big advertising push for Ford, though. Michael, I bought a Chevette and got it running in sub school. It died as I entered I-95. I just checked out of base transfer. What a nightmare. Oh, man. Okay. I think that was lightning. I'm not sure. Jerry, what was the worst car you ever drove? I got a Hyundai Pony as a loaner once. It was a nightmare. Yeah, I mean, worst. Gosh, that Matador really. That's a pretty serious boomer. Wow. Hope you heard that. That was pretty impressive. It's still rolling. I hope that's thunder. What was the worst car you ever drove? Man, that's gosh. I mean, the Matador was, but I only drove it a short period of time. So my 16-year-old memory on that is that I hated that car. But I mean, I drove other things that were not good. There were some Pintos in my life that were not great. I've had so many cars, Dave. You know how it is. I've had so many cars, but I can't. I will say, okay, I did have a Jeep Cherokee. I had a Jeep Cherokee that I got for cheap. It was like the boxy one, probably an 82, 83 something. Thing leaked oil everywhere. I mean, just everywhere. And it had all kinds of problems that were just, I can't even remember all the problems I had with that thing, but I worked on it until I finally sold it, passed it on to somebody else after I fixed 90% of the problems. But that thing was, that had a lot of problems. A vest saw the $400 Mustang in Marketplace today. I've been tempted to buy it. Is it worth it? Well, is it worth it to you is the question. 6-cylinder car doesn't hold as much value, but people are starting to put some money in these 6-cylinder cars as well. You could convert it to a V8 and do all the modification, change out the suspension so it holds, takes the V8, but it's still labeled as a 6-cylinder car. So, I mean, sometimes you stumble across something that may or may not be worth what they think it's worth, but then you go looking for another one and you can't find another one that is even, in your price range or close. Sometimes you just have to take a chance on it. So, but it's up to you if it's worth it for you is the bigger question. Jessica, the Grand Ham. Yeah. Michael, Avest, look at Texas, Oklahoma Marketplace for better deals. There you go. Let's see. Dawn, at all this first worst car talk, I don't know. I still own my first car, which is awesome, by the way. And Dawn, I know I mentioned it before. I really encourage you to make a YouTube channel for your stuff. If you have the old videos and stuff still saved, I really encourage you to do it. I really do. I think it'd be great. Nick, do you have Car X down there where you're and back in Pennsylvania? When you did the Flutter, it reminded you of the commercial back in the day. Car X? I'm not sure. Never heard of Car X. I don't know what that means. Okay, Buckeye Jim, I watched them. Okay, cool, good. It was lightning, yeah. Car X. I don't know what that is. Yeah, that thunder was pretty serious. Don Thompson getting closer. Boom, rumble, rumble. Yeah. Dave, if you're suddenly gone, we know your power went out. Yeah. And if it gets really loud and then I disappear completely, you heard that one. Yeah. That is not thunder. That is your wife going through your car bills. Yeah. Nick, last time I said, I hope you hear that. It's still rolling. I hope it's thunder. I was talking about something very different. Sammy, Lisa Smith, wish I was your boy. You could teach to build all kinds of things. Yeah, I tried. I really did. I tried, but I have a grandson now. He'll be 2 in July. So maybe I can get him on board and get him building stuff. I might even make a YouTube channel for him just to see what he does. Might. You never know. Nick, I kind of looked up to the corner like you did to see what I to do, like you did too when I said it. Yeah. Let's see, Jerry. All right. I'm gonna put that guy in timeout. Let me see. So he's asking Michael. Okay. Rick, I wish I kept my first 66 T code Mustang coupe. I gave it away. Yeah. Yeah. There's, I don't regret, I don't think, selling hardly anything that I've had as far as cars go, but the only thing I miss is my 72 short bed 4x4 Chevy. That's the only one I really miss. Senor, I just saw an 03 Mustang V6 coupe. Do you know what I should be aware of? It's $3,000. 03? I mean, I don't know the particulars of those cars, if they have any, inherent mechanical issues. I don't know if they have any transmission problems. I really don't know. So if anybody has any answers for Senor, then by all means share them with us. But Don, my granddaughter was my little helper, but now at 13, not so much. Yeah. Yep. Jessica, you keep looking over like it's going to come through the wall. Well, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I seem to have a little lull, so I want to show you something that I picked up. Yeah, we talked about that. But I don't know if you can see that or not. I picked up a DeWalt buffer polisher. I debated on whether I wanted the Milwaukee one. They had the cordless Milwaukee. I could not justify it. $700 tool. How often would I really use it? I don't know. But I do have a generic Harbor Freight polisher that, it did okay. But I went ahead and got this one, a corded one. And I think this is gonna be the ticket for doing future stuff like the hood and the whole car. So that is something on the horizon, is that buffer. Because like I said, the Milwaukee cordless thing looks really awesome. M18 cordless. It's like that would be really nice, but it just doesn't have. I don't know. I've had tools. We've got all these battery operated tools, right? Well, the thing is, you have to use them. You can't just let them sit, or the batteries will go bad. So, if I were to spend the money on that type of tool, how often am I going to use it? Is probably the biggest question. And is it something that I can leave, sit for a great period of time, and then, but the batteries go bad. So, anyway, I bought that thing, and I'll deal with the cord. People have done it for years. It's not like I buff cars every day. So, yeah, Roger. Yeah, it sounds like it might come through the wall. It does. It sounded pretty impressive. Dave, as your kids go older, you turn into their helper, it seems. Yeah. Yep, that's a good point. Jose, what's an entry-level muscle car for a 20-year-old? think we've been having a lot of this tonight. We had a lot of these kind of questions. Entry level muscle car. Well, I wouldn't go. I mean, we talked about earlier about the 05 to 09, 2010 Mustangs, V6. Well, even if you got the V8 car, if it's somebody who's got a lot of experience driving, that's probably a decent car. There's not a whole lot of choices, honestly, when it comes down to it. If you look in, because I'm not, for me, I'm not going to buy somebody that young anything that's new. It's going to have to be some older car that they can drive, and if they have problems, they have problems. But I'd rather do that than put them in something really nice and then they mess it up. Let's see. Neil, the Mustang 2 was every bit as bad as a Chevette. Well, but the Mustang 2, technically, you could get with a V8 engine, right? Technically. The Chevette was always going to be a four-cylinder, no matter what you did. So at least the potential was there for the Mustang. You could, give it some more oomph. Yes, Don, variable speed. Yep. What sports cars do you recommend for teenagers that are in high school? I don't recommend any sports cars for teenagers that are in high school. Get them a Toyota Corolla or Honda Civic. That's what I recommend. Toyota Camry. Some little four-door car that they can just drive, get good gas mileage, throw some kids in the back seat. I wouldn't get any sports cars for a teenager. Just my opinion. Unless they're paying for it, Let's see how quick they want something when they have to pay for it. Denny, I've had a DeWalt variable speed buffer for 20 years. Great buffer. Yeah. Well, and this one has the rubber cover on the top of it. Not that I plan to hit anything with it, but I just thought, okay, it's got the rubber protecting. So, Derek, are you going to block down Jay to flat finish or leave some peel? Either way, still awesome. It's probably going to be flat. Yeah. I don't know that I can. I don't know how far I can let myself not do something, if that makes sense. I get so carried away with things when I'm doing this kind of work. I know even when all this is done and bolted back together and able to drive, I know in my mind that I'm still going to be picking at it. I'm still going to be going, I missed that. Nobody else will see it ever, but I will know. And I'm going to go, don't look there, because there's always going to be something that's going to bother me. Nick, Fox body, later bodied Camaros, S10 with V8 swap. What you like is a real question, and what's entry level price to you? That's a good point. Chris, when is Jade on the road? Honestly, I don't know. I am hoping. I wanted to have paint done this week. I wanted to have the body all painted, done this week. Unfortunately, we have rain today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. I'm hoping to have paint either Thursday or Friday on the car. And then, of course, from there, it's still going to be sanded and buffed and, start putting things back together. So we'll see how it goes if I can get the paint on the car. In fact, depending on how things go, I don't know if I may still do a live stream on Thursday. We'll see how things go. Because if I'm in the middle of painting something, I can't stop. And if the weather's right, I might just say, oh, nope, I got to get stuff done. Dawn, store battery tools at when half charge is best for long term. Yeah, the hard part is knowing when you're at half charge, I guess. That's the hard part. For me, I don't know. I mean, put on a charger and you can maybe see it, but Chris, buffers are great, Barry. You'll use them through your paint's life. Yeah, but I'm not. You can ask Roger. I'm not like into detailing. I really don't. I mean, I'll do it, but I don't. I would rather not clean up and detail a car. I would rather just drive it. It doesn't mean I won't take care of it, but I just don't. It's not something I'm going to do every week. I'm working on things. I'm building things. I'm restoring things. So to me, if I can wipe down the car with some McGuire's quick detailer and wipe it down with terry towels, I'm happy. That's all I really look forward to. Crash Ride, I've had a DeWalt corded buffer for over 20 years. I don't use it much, but it still works and looks like new. Good choice. Thank you. Jose, how about a 2014 Audi S4? Most people tell me they're headaches, but people that own them say they're more reliable than we think. Yeah, I don't have an answer on that. I don't personally. I mean, there's probably a good car. I don't know. I avoid German cars. I really do. At the body shop, working on those things tend to be a nightmare. So I just avoided them. Just me personally. Mercedes, BMW, Volkswagen. I just avoided them. But they may be fine. They may be fine. I don't know. Jessica, sports cars for teens, MX-5. Well, there you go. There's an answer for you. Chris, affordable F bodies. Does $5,000 out the door? Yeah, that could be. Yeah. Rick, Jose, in my opinion, problem with any European car is the cost of parts. Good point. Good point. Derek, I'm the same here, but as you get older, we have to just enjoy. Yes. Jessica, stay away from Audis if you value your money. Good call. Barry and Terry have won best paint at a car show and had the car on the turnstile at Summit Racing, and he almost hates that paint job. You're right. You're absolutely right. Because I know where the flaws are on that Camaro, and it drives me nuts. Junebug, should I paint my car ready? Should I paint my car ready to make it go faster? Paint your car ready. I'm guessing you're saying red. By all means, paint it red. You'll get 10 miles per hour. You'll gain 10 miles per hour in top speed if you paint your car red. So yes. Chris, need a new fuel tank for my 66 Mustang. Is it worth the upgrade to a stainless steel tank? That is a good question. I'm going to say probably so. These tanks, I mean, the ones we get now are not much better, in my opinion, than what we had back in the day. They're still going to have issues with the corrosion and stuff like that. I'm not sure what the price difference is between a stainless one and, the typical tank, but my mind is going to tell me, yes, it's probably worth it in the long run. Because I think we all end up having problems with these gas tanks over time because they're just not the same. New cars have a better liner in them. At least that's what I'm seeing. Anybody else have an opinion? By all means. Don, I use my buffer to polish my welding helmet optics too. Interesting. Jessica, for all your first car or best car questions, you may want to go over to the Car Wizard after this. There you go. Probably a good choice. Nick, the Audis are fun cars and make sure it's in good shape. Parts are above average expensive. When they do need fixed, I had a friend who had one. Good point. Dawn, no German cars for kids or single moms. Maintenance schedules too steep. I just hated working on them. I mean, of course, having a body shop, if you had to put a bumper cover on a Mercedes, I'm telling you, it felt like 100 different pieces to take it apart, paint it, and put it back together. And you do a Honda, and you're like, oh, I got to take out these 6 bolts and 4 clips. Ugh. But the Mercedes, I mean, they had all these crazy pins and interlocking this, and for what? Nothing. Just to make some engineer happy. Yeah, Chris, stay away from project cars. When you're a broke 21-year-old, you go down a rabbit hole. David, hey Joe, me and my friend were going through a field with a forest right next to it. We found a really something crimson red Lambo from the 70s. We got a pic, but that next time we went to see it, it was gone. Interesting. Are you sure it was a real Lambo? Because it could have been something. It could have been a Volkswagen. They used to make those bodies that look like that. Jose, well, I guess Audis aren't the best alternative for my money. Time for a Hellcat then. Yep, do it. Nick, go stainless always when it comes to fuel if you can. So there's some good advice from Nick. Steve, you'll gain more tickets in a red car too. Ask me how I know. Teenager with a hot rodded red 65 Mustang in the 80s. Yes. Yep, they go faster. Red paint makes the car go faster. Okay. It's been 2 hours, and that's plenty of time. I still have 93 people watching. Fantastic. But it's going to be time for me to call it a night. Got to get in the house, sit down and relax, watch a little TV, and chill. So at this point, I do plan to be back here Thursday at 3, and I will try to make sure I post a notice on YouTube. If I decide not to do it at 3, or do it, I'll just put a note, a blurb. It says no live stream today. So we'll see how that goes. But again, the plan is hopefully, if the weather pushes off, that I can be spraying paint Thursday or Friday, because I really want to get paint on this car. As it is, I'm going over the little detail things. I found an issue today that bugged me, and it was on the driver's door where it met the quarter panel. When I was sanding it, I found a lump. And I was like, I got to fix it. I can't let that go. I got to fix it. But anyway, I'm going to take care of those little detail things and start masking and get it ready to go. I know that I don't even know that I had a video on Friday. I probably didn't, because there's not much for me to film, just continually sanding and, oh, sorry, I had some comments down there. Just sanding and wet sanding and stuff like that. So really not a very good video to be, sharing, but anyway, so I'll try to be back here on Thursday, and, if not, I'll let you know as well. But thank you all for being here and watching and following along. And until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.